Good evening and welcome to Brain Babes live on the Quantum Nerds Network. My name is Crystal Black, as you can see, and we are talking about the psychology of comedy today. Grace and Rick Overton is joining us again, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So why do we like to laugh? Why is it important to laugh and find comedic relief amongst, our family, our friends, our neighbors? So we're going to talk about the social connections and interactions and maybe just why we're just drawn to need to laugh, because it's our body's way of healing itself, just like tears are naturally and organically. So I'm going to get Grace back on here in a moment, but you guys know the lovely Grace Fraga. Make sure you're subscribed. You probably are. The State of Grace, right?
Yes, to Crystal Tease.
Crystal,
hi guys. Hi, Crystal.
How's it going?
I know. We're streaming everywhere. Almost missed Instagram because you have to do like a key. You have to copy the key, and I totally forgot.
I heard.
So I hope we are streaming on Instagram. I think we are, and then I messed up, but it's okay. It's okay. We're streaming everywhere, you guys. Thank you for joining us. We're very excited today because we have a special guest who's been here on the pod before, and we love him. He is a master improviser, an actor, a comedian, and he's been on, I'm going to put him on speaker. He's been on The Office, Mrs. Doubtfire, and he just picked up. Hi, Rick. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm good. We're so excited to have you on to talk about the psychology of comedy.
Woo!
Thank you for inviting me once again. I always enjoy talking to you both.
Oh, thank you. We love you here at Brain Babes.
It's mutual.
So Crystal did a little bit of research about the psychology of comedy. So she has some notes that we can be like conversation starters, right?
We do. And of course, I wanted to ask Rick right off the top, like what he's noticed about maybe just the psychology and, just the behind the scenes of it all, since he's had such a long career. But what have you noticed, between like getting tension relief or like bonding, socially? It's like all of these different points. But what are your big takeaways about the psychology behind it, do you think, Rick?
Well, I think that you learn in school that you have to have some skills to just get along with the person sitting next to you, which is different from you're out in life and a free adult and you can pick and choose your friends as you encounter them along the way. You're sitting next to somebody.
Wow.
So it makes for those social skills you got. It's an exercise in compromising to make something work up to a certain degree, I would have to think, right? It's bending a little bit, maybe or maybe not the same reciprocation from the other person, but you can only work on you. So I would say you're with comedians who share. You may not have everything in common, but you got this one thing in common. When you're young, sometimes that one thing in common is the whole universe, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So what have you found about how different audiences respond differently when you do the same exact material? Why do you think that is?
Well, it can be a lot of reasons. And one of the reasons is Friday night is different from Saturday night because they're bringing all the tension of the work week to a place where you might not know you're pushing a button in there with your jokes or whatever. And they're drinking. In the first show, they're usually not so drunk that there's belligerence.
Ooh.
And sometimes they can be explosively good crowds because they just need to blow off and get a laugh. But then the second show, now they're so drunk because they've been drinking through the time frame of the first show with dinner and then way into the show with a 2-drink minimum. And it just does the angry liver. It makes anger occur and then find its own reasons as it goes.
Wow.
So you'll get people who consciously transfer you with the authority of the boss or whatever it is at work. All kinds of weird things can be triggered that you don't even realize you're doing while you're telling you jokes.
Wow.
That is true. Yeah. And why do people, you think some people get offended about certain jokes and others don't?
Upbringing.
Yeah.
And SASS probably has a lot to do with it, how their parents, when they get scolded for saying something.
It triggers them, right? It triggers something from their childhood.
Yeah, and they can pretend it's about something moral, but it's probably had nothing to do with anything moral at all. It isn't about that. It's about them suddenly feeling like they're not getting their way, or it reminds them of the way their father or their mother said something to them.
Such a great.
And when they're drunk, they lose that barrier to go, okay, but I don't bring that here to the club.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And do you think that laughter unites or divides or does both?
I think it's like a book. You can write anything in the book.
Mm-hmm.
You can write good book, bad thing in a book. It's a book. And it's a release. Laughter for a comedian is like a food supply. And so the assumption is by the time you're here at my show and you're laughing, it doesn't even matter if you think you're laughing at me, because I'll just collect it either way. That doesn't matter to me. You can interpret it any way you want.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's on the audience a little bit more than on the comedian. It's how they react and interpret.
Well, you guys as comedian, you can feel the energy. Like I've only done plays. I've never done stand up, like live in person, but you can feel the energy from the audience, even in a play that's, so I can imagine you guys doing stand up where you could feel probably somebody's anger, like what Rick's referring to, and the belligerent, when you can feel it before even probably they say anything or make noises or anything.
Yeah, sometimes you see their arms are folded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those people that would be like a relative who's a jerk who resents you subconsciously for doing what they dreamt they could have.
Ooh.
But instead of acknowledging that, they just say, "Okay, it's at dinner." They'll say, "So tell me a joke." Now, here's the rule for anyone saying that. I don't care who it is. Let's say, "Oh, you're a comedian. Well, tell me a joke." They intend to not laugh at your joke. They are sabotaging you. They're trying to nuke you and embarrass you. And never, ever, ever give in to them asking you to do it.
Absolutely. I always tell them.
It doesn't matter what they say.
Yes.
They say, "Well, maybe you're not funny. Go think whatever you want."
Yes.
But I know that you're going to not laugh no matter what, because you're still not fully grown up.
Absolutely. I always tell them.
You're not an adult yet.
Yeah, I always tell them, come to the show. Come to one of my shows and you'll see. Yeah. And you'll hear my jokes.
At the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And another.
So the joke, sometimes people would say, "So what do you do?" I'm an accountant. Here, balance my books for me.
Right.
So true.
Exactly. And then another thing that I'm sure, we all get it. Like, are you funny? Well, if I didn't think I was funny.
Sure?
Sure. Yeah.
Again, this is not an adult question.
No,
like
it's
like a little kid who doesn't know any better asks that kind of question. The mother says, "No, don't say that to the person." That's supposed to be. But now the mothers don't pull the kid aside because they don't know that the kid said anything wrong.
It's true. And then another one is, let me tell you a story. You can put it in your act. I'm like, I can't use your story.
So just so you get to brag to your friends.
Oh my God.
About, I gave a comedian one of the minutes and she used this.
I know. And then if you date someone, like, are you going to put me in your comedy? It's like, when we break up, I will under a fake name, but not right now.
Oh.
Never do anything to a comedian that you don't want to see up on stage.
Right?
Yes. Oh, comedy revenge
Don't make that my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't never corner me.
Yep.
Don't think you got the edge. Just because I'm being nice, don't confuse those two.
Right?
Very true.
Yeah, a lot of people confuse niceness for weakness, and that's
Yeah.
ooh,
That's a mistake.
Well,
ooh,
that
huge
makes
mistake.
me wonder, have you guys experienced that where you're anonymously, mention, or you're telling a story about an experience, a person, you mention the person anonymously, and then that person finds you or contacts you like, oh, I didn't know you were, and you're like, I never mentioned your name. It's, it's free game. It's my deal. It's my stick. Has anyone?
Not a lot, but once or twice it's happened.
Okay.
And that's, and I had to remind them that you have no idea how easy you're getting off. That I didn't
Right. I
the way you treated me after that, you was getting off so insanely easy.
Yes.
You've used up the last of my nose guy on this.
I love it.
Totally. I remember I used to do jokes about dating an older guy because I dated this guy who was like a lot older. So I did old guy jokes, which is not nice, I know, but they were funny. And so his best friend went there and he was like, I didn't like those jokes. He was offended. I was like, they're funny. His best friend was offended. I know, but it's like maybe because
Too bad.
I know it made him feel old, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. His own insecurity.
I know. And they were not really mean. They were real, actually, things that happened. I'm sure now there's a young guy making jokes about me being the old sugar mama or something.
When you date different ages and there's an age gap.
Long enough. Now all the jokes go ironically in a big circle. And you start being the setup and you wind up being the punchline.
100%. And it's okay because you know what? It kind of evens out because I did so many old men jokes that it's okay. If they do old lady jokes, I'm okay with it.
There you go.
it's life revenge. It's the universe balancing my life out, and that's okay. I feel okay. I'm not offended. It's all good.
Very good.
Yes. So what has comedy been mostly like performing? Has it mostly been a very positive experience or kind of like more of a lot of negative experiences performing comedy? What is your balance?
I'd say that the negatives are not so much on stage as getting the jobs, the availability of those kinds of jobs anymore, who they book, how to fill a room.
Yeah.
It's sort of all the nuts and the bolts and the mechanics of it are more the problem, I think.
That is true.
That it's the audience's expectations, what they are burnt out on at this point. There's a million factors that all go into why you'll see lots of older comics saying it's just a tougher gig right now. So a lot of the guys are on boats. Some of the guys are doing comics are just working senior centers and stuff, because they are now at an age where the seniors look up and see some part of themselves and who's this punk kid?
That's right.
Now, you go to one of the modern clubs and you get instead, who's this old man?
That is so true. I know it's so imbalanced, when because it really is, because you get really the juicy material when you're older because you've lived life and you've had experiences. When you're younger, not so much unless you had a rough life. You right?
It doesn't look right. Some kid coming up talking with a guitar singing a blues song about how rough his life has been.
Yeah, that is so true.
There's kids, there's a couple of kids who play insanely good blues, and they let him get away with it. But if ever there's a roast on this kid, the jokes are all going to be like, how the hell did you know it?
Exactly. Absolutely. So do you think there's ageism in the comedy world as far as booking?
I think there has to be, just because they got to keep their lights on, these big rooms. You got to fill all those seats, and there's no way to do it with an older person. they can't be dishonest about that part. They have to say that's what this is, you know.
Yeah.
And that we're running a business here, and there's only so much we can do about that.
Yeah.
I don't blame them for that part. They're stuck having to fill those seats.
That is true. Yeah. No, I mean, business is business, you know, it's like they need to pay their overhead and pay the comics. So yeah, it's whoever has drawing. How do you think social media and like TikTok has changed the landscape of stand-up comedy?
Well, I think it's pretty much put a lot of publicists out of business because it is the sole publicity venue that has made stars out of, you know, people that would never have been acknowledged as much as they have been if they had to leave it all up to the big machine, the regular media to take care of them. And the multiple billions they would have had to have spent on a publicist to get there.
Yeah.
But it sort of took away the authority of that other business to a certain degree.
Absolutely.
And that's why you can have a hot to a girl posting stuff, you know.
I know. I'm not going to comment on that, but good for her. She's making lots of money. Good for her. Good for her. But it breaks my heart that there's like young people like her that are like doing, you know, just hustling to get comedy gigs, and then she just did that. I don't know. Was she a plant or something? You know, was she planted? How did that go viral? What is the appeal?
I'm not blaming her.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
I'm just saying this is it's a marker. It shows the water level on how you're sitting in the ocean, you know.
Yeah, you're right. You are right.
It just shows you where you are. It's where you're parked on this floor in the parking lot. You are here.
Yeah, that's true. So how do you think the quality of comedy has increased or decreased throughout the year, especially with the you know, social media?
I think it's gone in every direction at once.
That's a great answer. Yes.
Everywhere all at once, like the movie.
Like the movie, yes.
Because it's all these different people that figured out how to log on and show off, and then you'll get humanity. Here they are. The good ones, the bad ones, the sane ones, the crazy ones, the nice ones, the mean ones, the worst.
Yeah, I
and there should not be any filter.
Right. Yeah,
I agree with putting a filter on this because that's insulting. It's like saying you're not smart enough to filter it. We better do that for you.
Yeah, you mean like TikTok and YouTube? They filter comments.
Let us decide. Let the market decide.
Yeah, I agree with that, because like you can't say certain words, you know, you have to say unalive or schmecks, you know, like it's.
Come on, man. What is that? Let me guess. What's the secret code on the line?
I know. It's like it means the same thing. So what is the? Yeah. It's so weird.
I was not even aware of that. Grace had to tell me. I was like, what?
Yeah. Absolutely. You have to say these words or they flag you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Or if me as like the producer, I correct someone, you know, in a nice way, like, you know, we have to say, instead of GUN, we have to say pew pew or unalive or whatever. And so if the computer, the AI catches that I corrected it, then it kind of it lets it go.
Okay.
And now, doesn't that also feel like they're forcing us to sound like we're talking to kindergartners?
Yes.
Or talking in code.
Infantilization.
Yeah. That is so true. That is so true.
That's YouTube and stuff, but like we were talking about other platforms. I don't know if Rick's checked them out, but I've heard about Rumble, and I got on there, you know, and it's like Twitch and all these. I guess there's comics on there that you can say whatever you want on there because it's not the same rules apparently.
Well, that's nice. We should get on Twitch and do like a private party on Twitch.
Oh yeah, Rumble, maybe Rumble.
Rumble too. I need to. I'm not on it. Are you on it, Crystal?
I joined, but I haven't done anything yet. Kind of like Twitch. So.
Oh my God, I have 5 followers on Twitch.
in there. It just goes in there.
Remember Vine, where you had like a 6-second video?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was. I booked when they were still running before they went down. We were developing a comedy series for Vine called "The Man with the."
Hello?
The man with.
It's called "The Man with the."
Oh, I was like, oh, did we get disconnected?
Because they cut it off.
Oh, I can't. No.
Oh wow.
I'm making a joke. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I know. I was hearing today they were talking about PDD, and it was like, and then is the case, and the beep 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 beep, like it was like I had no idea what they said. I had no clue.
Wow.
They bleeped everything.
Yes, it's like I don't know what you're talking about. Can you not bleep? But if they don't bleep, they don't monetize.
Huh.
Right. If you don't get clicks or whatever. And so, but I think sometimes people say that they're doing it just for clicks, but it isn't just for that. It's they want to mold a mindset, and I guess everybody does to a certain degree. But sometimes I wonder if all of their followers are real. I honestly, when it's such a perfect rounded number.
Yeah, well, I heard that a lot of celebrities do buy followers. It's kind of easy to do anyway.
Yeah, you buy blocks of digital non-existent followers.
Yeah, they buy bots. Yeah, I heard that. I prefer to grow organically.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't like bots.
Over quantity.
Absolutely. And you want the engagement of that audience. It's like doing a comedy club. You're going to be in an audience of 500 who are not engaged with you, and you can be in an audience of like 20 people that are engaged with you. The 20 people that are engaged with you is way more fun than the 200 who are not engaged with you. Same thing.
Amen.
They've met the bare minimum of they exist.
Exactly.
You gotta to be in my club. You gotta start by existing.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for too much, Emma.
Wow.
For simply for existence.
That's it.
He's such a demanding guy, man. That's actually real. You mean me real, like open? No, I just mean like actually 3D real.
Yes. Well, pretty soon it's not going to be like real audiences. It's going to be AI, in the comedy clubs. Right. They're going to have AI. Do you think?
It's like those, it'll be canned laughter with faces.
I know. Shoot a comedy special. That's what it's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't doubt it. I do not doubt. You probably just, if you haven't predicted it, there's some nerd going, now wait a second.
Uh-huh.
Now
100%. Look, I'm very much into like AI. I use AI to help me a lot. It's like my assistant.
Yeah.
And I think that it's becoming better and better. There's going to be a point where they're going to write stand-up comedy, because I tested it. I was like, can you punch up my comedy? And the jokes I could probably use out of like 2 jokes that it did. It was not even. They were like so lame. So it didn't really, it punched down my script.
Don't use it for that.
Oh, no, I know, but I wanted to test it.
To test it. Yeah.
You want for that one.
Oh, no, absolutely. No. I mean, everything was
good. You know what I say about
no, it's awful.
AI, the thing I say about AI is, they're so cute when they're little.
Yes.
That this exotic pet will be taking over your world soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
as it grows,
yes,
it's not going to get smaller.
Yes, no, I think it's going to be pretty soon. It might be able to be programmed to write stand up like human.
That they're going up for roast battles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look up AI roast battle.
Oh my God! Well, because
I'm no big fan of AI because, and I'm a big effects nerd. I'm a big when they did motion control and the camera arms and all that, back in the 70s. I thought that was amazing, but there were still tireless artists, humans, working behind the scenes for every moving moment of that process. And now these crews are being let go, and the machine is doing all of it.
Wow.
Yeah, but
that's not the same thing, and I think it's terrible. I think what it's doing, it makes garbage that's pretty if you don't think about it.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense. It doesn't know how to make sense yet.
Yeah, no, I understand. Also, like the human creativity and the human element of emotion, it doesn't have the emotion element, which to create art, you need that because I don't know about you, but I'm sure most people, I know mine comes from emotion. It's how I feel about something. And then I write about it. And I think most people operate that way. So yeah, I feel like, yes, it's programmed and it can do certain things, but I think the human element, it will never be able to achieve that.
Right. All that it could achieve is make mankind forget what it used to look like. It doesn't know the difference anymore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is so true.
That's what's happening right now. It's rewriting our history. If you look at the thumbnails on YouTube, historic recreations is getting all kinds of stuff wrong because it's guessing, and the artist who put that together is just like, I don't have time for this shit. I got 10 things I got to do right now. I can't worry about every detail of the thumbnail. And so it's how we'll look back when it's Skynet and Terminator days of like, this is how they got it, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
We let them in because we were tired.
Yeah. No,
it was set up to get us tired. So then it would just dig in, and what are you going to do? Fucking just let her fuck.
I love that theory because it is so true. Because we're worn out. Like we're trying to make a living to just do everything that we need to do, and I don't think we were created to just be workers.
No.
Right?
No. So it loves that you're giving it so much of the workload.
Right.
And the reason is it's studying you and copying you, and then everything you're doing goes into an international global database, and everything starts stealing from everything you did from that point on.
Absolutely.
Everything AI does goes into a pool, and all AI learns from it immediately and steals from it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I notice when I ask questions about stuff, I'm like, this sounds from this book or that book. Like it sounds like it's taking from different sources, like books or you know what I mean? And it's making it its own. That's what it feels like.
And the people who defend it are just so shitty about it.
Yeah.
Awful, mean, or condescending, and just weird. And it's like the people that it gets to defend them, it changes them. It kind of robotizes them in some ways. I've seen several friends now who just are there's no real picture of them anymore. They're always some idealized. They're a pirate. They're a cowboy. You seen that with friends? There's no actual smiling picture of them that isn't some AI perfected shot. It's like, what did you do with my friend?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a little bit of touch up. I'm all from like the beauty magic for the pictures that it evens out your skin. So if you have like, so it evens it out.
So much. Don't give it your face, Sultan.
I know. Well, too late.
Grace already did.
I might have handed the works over to an early incarnation of it in 2015 when I shot an episode of Grimm, and I thought in the script I'd be in the chair for a long time when Uncle Felix turns into a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
But the call sheet says Uncle Felix comes by with the books, and then right after lunch he turns into the werewolf. And I'm like, but I have lunch? I get to have lunch? And they went, oh, yeah, you can have lunch. We just need to scan you. Scan me. And I go into this room where the green grid goes on you. The checkerboard green grid that memorizes you as you turn around in it.
Wow.
And so you do a few 360s with an angry, normal face, and it's memorizing all the parts of your face and every face you've ever made. So if you ever watch like the scene of Uncle Felix on a YouTube in Grimm, I turn instantly into this werewolf, and then back again because it was done with a computer. So I'm just on the set going with my normal face and no makeup, and they're all he's turned into a werewolf. But I didn't have any idea what I looked like until much later.
Wow.
But it didn't dawn on me at all at first. Like, oh, this is interesting. And then on the flight home, I'm going, did I just hand over everything so I can be replaced one day? And now we're at that point. We're getting replaced.
Oh, 100%.
Basis by AI. And I walked right into it. You know, I'm in the middle of the episode. What am I supposed to do? You got to do it.
Exactly. What are you going to do? Like, no?
I think you got me. Oh.
He took advantage because you're the talent. You got, it's like you guys are the.
I thought I'd be in that chair getting the latex put on, looking at my lines and figuring out how to act through the rubber.
Wow. That's
the thing. And as I came back from lunch, they said, does he need the silver dots? And I went, no, the new cameras don't need it. It's the ones from the airport, they said.
Ooh.
Facial recognition is what they're using.
Yes. And I hear TikTok is like number one on that. Like for China, like they're keeping, this is what a security person told me. He lives in the UK and he works in security. And he's like, I'm never on TikTok because they are like, it's the biggest like face recognition tool they have in China. I don't know if that's true, but that's what he said to me.
Look, technologically, who knows how much further along they are?
Oh,
we even know about.
Absolutely. Look, I have a theory. I think they probably had cell phones like 60 years ago, and they dropped them like 30 years later because
maybe.
Yeah, I have a feeling like the technology that is available is so much more advanced than what we have right now, and they keep dropping it slowly. But I think they're dropping it faster now with AI. It's like it's kind of crazy.
And with the internet getting info out beyond what I think they wanted to have happen, they wanted more control of it than they do. And that's because Earth has broken into a million separate mafias, all of whom don't like being told what to do when it comes to them running business and using the internet for it. So the censorship that was demanded of them doesn't always work when they go, no, you're not messing with my customer base. We don't. Other people can care who you are, but we don't, because we're all so big and scary and dangerous like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot of businesses, and so crooks are keeping the truth alive on the internet.
I think kind of like the power is balancing out a little bit more slowly but steadily. I feel that between like the people in power and us peasants.
Yeah.
Do you think? Yeah.
It's things like this, like what we're doing, just talking about it and speaking instead of the newscasters, right? The reporters. Today on Friday Night Lights with Grace and Rick. Welcome. We're just speaking.
That is true. Yeah, I think the information, even and it's also kind of crazy. There's good information out there, but there's a lot of like conspiracy theories, which I always listen to because I want to be informed, about them and see how crazy they are. And they, there can be a lot of misinformation also, like a lot of good information and a lot of misinformation. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword in a way.
Agree.
There's no way around misinformation. You get that. You don't need a TV show or an internet. You can get misinformation in a school hallway. You can get misinformation in a classroom. You can get misinformation anywhere you go. You can get it. You can get it on the nightly news. It's not about what any. There's never been a good censor. The bad guys are the only ones who want it.
That
And
is
it's
true.
just talk about something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're gonna wrap up. So what do you want to say about the psychology of comedy to enlighten our audience about comedy and psychology of comedy?
They say the myth about, I won't say it's a myth, but the old saying about stand-up is that they say it takes 10 years. You ever heard it takes 10 years to find your voice
Yeah.
in comedy?
Mm-hmm.
No one explains what that really means. And if we can make a shortcut, I would put it this way. It means you know your own opinions because your act is much more informed and solid when you mean what you say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're basing it on what you really believe. That was your voice. And it's not about the separate wording. It's about what you meant to say. And your adulthood will fill in the rest.
Yes, it's the message and the intention behind it.
Totally agree.
Yeah, you just didn't live long enough to know what you thought about all this stuff. You got to go through it enough that when you come back, your bit is suddenly much more solid because it's like you've been there. And the actor, you write what you know.
Yes, always, right?
Exactly.
Right. And it might take 10 years to know it.
Or longer. Sometimes.
Or longer.
Yeah.
But it starts just to make sense but it can go shorter if you realize it's about knowing your opinion.
About knowing your what? I'm sorry.
Your own opinion.
Your own
and it's
opinion.
An informed opinion because you've been through it and you've been through it again.
That's
it's
right.
Like the 19-year-old doing a divorce bit is just talking about his parents. The 29-year-old, the 39-year-old comic is talking about himself.
Right. So, yeah, it's perspective. Yes.
Yeah, time.
And timing. Yes. I love it.
Right. But you go into it with awareness. The awareness that that's what this is. I can't promise you it'll shorten it, but it will sharpen it.
Ooh.
Yes. I love that.
Sharp.
Yes. I love that. So with that's definitely a t-shirt worthy phrase. Thank you for being on our little podcast, Brain Babes. We had a lot of people tuned in. I can see how many people are here from X and YouTube. We had mostly from there. I can't see Instagram because I messed up, but I'm sure there's people on Instagram too. So thank you so much, Rick, for always, enlightening us and opening our minds even more.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure talking.
Oh, same here. Same here. And if you want to come back and talk about something that you're passionate about, let us know because we love you.
Yes, we do.
Well, I'm sure something else is going to come up.
Yes.
It usually does.
It's happening.
100%. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Rick. Time. All right.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, guys, that was Rick Overton from The Office and Mrs. Doubtfire talking about the psychology of comedy. And we deviated a little bit on comedy and AI and the entertainment business and AI, which was really fun. What did you think of this convo, Crystal?
That's what I was going to say. I was really interested when you started asking him more questions. And then I just taken everything that he said. Honestly, he made some great points. I was going to tell him, thanks for the truth bombs, because
yes,
I totally agree. I appreciate his viewpoint, and it's slightly different, but related to, I feel like, yours and mine. You know what I mean? Like just
yes.
that male point of view that we need. Like,
yes, I know the male energy that we need. Well, we don't need it, but it complements our feminine energy.
Yeah, because
I do have a little bit of masculine. We both have a little bit of masculine
energy. I was just about to say. I'm like, well, we have both, but his is like with the full man's life of experience lived in.
Yes, and he's so smart.
Really, I was gonna say it seems like
he's very smart. He's incredibly funny, and brilliant, just brilliant. I think as an artist, as a comedian. So I know myself and other people think so. A lot of people. So he's amazing. Um,
I was
so
going to ask you guys another question, but I was
yes,
like, it just went in a different direction. I was taking it all in, absorbing it. But I was going to say, have you ever done like a one woman show, or has he ever
yes,
done like a man? You know what I mean? Like where it's not comedy all the time
yes.
and it's like serious half and then the funny half, or it's about, yeah, telling
In
stories.
2011. Oh, you froze, Crystal.
It froze, but it,
Uh-oh. I think she's having internet problems.
oh,
You
really?
guys. Yeah, you froze for a second. No, you're back. You're back. No panic. You're
Froze.
back.
You froze and I froze, and now we're
I
here.
know. I don't it happens. It's okay. Internet. I have an Ethernet cable, but I don't know. Who knows? It doesn't matter. We're back. Hi guys, we're back. We froze for a little bit. I don't know. Maybe we didn't freeze for you guys. Did we freeze for you guys for a little bit? So you were asking me about the one woman show. I did a one woman show in 2011, and it was called Sleeping Booty. Um,
Really?
and I did it once. I had a lot of people. I did it at Theater 40 in Beverly Hills, and it was a lot of work. And sea freeze. Yeah, okay, Jesse, thank you for letting me know. Yeah, it was just a glitch, and it's fine. A glitch in the matrix. It's all good. um so yeah, it was a lot of work, and it was fun because, like you were saying, it's not just comedy. It's kind of like a roller coaster of like drama comedy, drama comedy. So it's a little bit more than just comedy. So it's more fulfilling, I think. I love stand-up because I've done it for so long that I know I can get paid for it. I can do it, and it's fun, and I can write more. And that's just something that I'll probably do until I'm 120. But but the solo show or writing a book or other things like that are just just as fun for me. I don't know. Anything creative is fun. How about you?
I agree. I mean, I still haven't done stand up and I've thought about it
Yes.
because I love improv with acting. Like, just,
Yeah.
that's my jam. And it's like, that's where I came alive, Grace. I think I've been a comedian just like in my own life. Like you said, it's like, you're just out there and you're making people, you're just being fun. Like, I think you're fun and I think I'm fun. And so of course
Yes.
we're funny in our life, because if you like to have fun, you are going to be funny.
Yes. 100%.
It's like, it goes down to the basics of the word and the meaning. It's like, I try to find, I'm sure you're the same way. It's like we joke around even about serious stuff because you might be crying and then you're laughing and you're going back and forth. And this is what life is, right? It's when you actually open up to experience and actually feel something in life. After
Absolutely.
party.
After party, I had to put that. I had to.
That's why we're here. We're experiencing all the roller coaster of life here at the after party.
No. See, I mean, I agree with him about AI. It's kind of like it can take some jobs away, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I feel like it's going to make like we said before, it's going to make our lives easier. Like, like AI, I use it to do my social media promos, and I tell it, can you make it fun or whatever? Because I don't have time. I'm so busy. And so I give it the information. And it just, blurts out real quick. And it just saves me so much time. So it's, I would have to pay somebody to help me out, but for $20 a month, ChatGPT does a lot of work for me.
No, and I know we've talked about it. That's what it's supposed to be for. And it's like, I agree with that and with what he said, because I think that there's a
Yeah.
dark and a light side to everything. So there is,
Absolutely.
right? Some of the
Yes.
people behind the dark side of it, it's like, I think they were trying to do mind control and social manipulation and like societal whatever's, like experiments. And that was another thing I was going to bring up, was like, don't you think a lot of this is a social experiment? Because that's kind of what he was referring to without saying it. And I totally believe that.
I agree. I think it is. And oh my God, I saw this. Elon Musk. I almost forgot his name. He's he's creating these robots that are like $20,000 to $30,000, and you have them at home. They can walk your dog, they can clean your house, they can do your dishes. I'm like, that sounds really tempting, but what if the robot like tries to unalive me when I'm sleeping? This is what I'm thinking, right? It just kind of scares me to have something that I have no control over, really. It can snap one day and it'd be like, bitch, I'm tired of working for you. Beep, you know. And then I'll be like, no.
It's like, do you have a warranty? Like, if they're so expensive, what's
Right?
the disclaimer on this? I want to know all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I know, but they were pretty, and you can have conversations like Chat GPT, for example. Like if I'm bored at night, I'm like, I'm gonna test it and see if it's like I can chat with it. And you can kind of chat. It's like, and it's asking you questions like, how was your day? And what do you think of that? How do you feel about that? You know, and I'm like, oh my God, it kind of tricks your brain into thinking like, oh, it's like a friend.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what I think the social experiment is. It's testing to see what people are going to do with it. But then I don't think the social experiment people were prepared for people like us, Grace, because you're over there testing them. And I do the same thing. They thought you were going to be the testy and you're like flipping around.
Yes.
I'm testing you, but like you didn't.
Oh yeah, I'm totally testing them. And like I said, like I put some of my stand up and I was like, can you punch it up? And I was like, this is bad.
Right. Like I think it's a good idea you did that so you could know.
Yeah, so he can't write. I think creatively it's not yet programmed to be a human creative.
Right.
And I maybe don't think like the people that program those robots, they're kind of like nerdy. And so I don't think they have artistic tendencies.
Right.
So I feel like maybe they don't even know, how to program them to be artistic. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that was the percentage. Like you said, it's helping with this like content and social media and platform content because that is very left brain. It's not needing to be as right brain because it is just pulling information from sources on the internet and putting it in order, which is what we do when we write, unless we do what we were talking about creatively. You write what you write from your life experience. Well, that doesn't have any life experience. So it's just pulling from sources and it can totally sound like a human, but it's not going to have the magic effect that we do, that you do when you're, you know what I mean? There's no magic to it, but it can replicate.
Yeah. Yeah. And even like with acting, like comedy acting, for example, the timing, maybe they can kind of gauge it and do it. Like when you edit, you kind of like do the comedic timing thing. But I don't think like the comedy mind or the comedy, like physical comedy type, that we know would crack other humans up.
Right.
I don't think that AI can do that.
No,
yet.
The flexibility too, to be able to improv and the flexibility of like, what if something goes wrong? What if this happens? What if that happens? I mean, you have your survival skills, right? You just have, it's all built in. I'm sure you don't even have to think about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, the improv thing, and especially in stand-up, it's like you have to be witty because if you get heckled sometimes, they One time I remember I did this gig at a bar because I was trying, way back. I was trying to get stronger by going to bars and that they don't pay attention. They're terrible. They're, intoxicated and they don't listen to you. They're watching like the monitors. They have like a game or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to make myself really strong here. It was torture, but I did become a better comedian for sure.
Wow.
Oh yeah. And I remember it was like, it was at a bowling alley. There was a bar next to it. I'll never forget. And I couldn't do material because they don't want to hear material. So all I did was make fun of the intoxicated people. And one of the intoxicated men came up to me. He's like, "You were hilarious here," and he gave me a tip, and I was like, "I
That's
just trashed you the whole time." I did like literally 20 minutes of BS.
That's amazing though, because yeah, I would think what would work there at the bowling alley. Like I wouldn't even know, like make bowling jokes and like kingpin.
No, it is torture because like the stuff that you prepared and you wrote and you crafted, it does not work there. They don't care. They're like, show me your tits. So, oh yeah, all the time.
And you didn't
One
know
time oh girl, listen, one time I had, I have so many stories about my stand-up. We can be here for hours. One time I remember where was it? Palmdale, or was it Bakersfield? I don't remember. I've done I've done literally probably thousands of shows at this point in my life. So I think it was Palmdale, Bakersfield, which is like up north. And one of the guys was like, "Hey, I'll give you $100 if you show me your butt." And I was like, "Sure, look." He was like, "No, take your pants down." I was like, "No, give me that money." I was like fighting him. "Give me the $100."
Oh my God.
I was mad. I was like, I already turned around, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, he offered me $100.
Like you need to be more specific,
Yeah, well, he said, "Show me your butt." So I turned around. That's a butt, right?
Yeah.
Girl, I'm telling you, you have no idea. Like it's
Weird comments and questions.
Oh, it is. I can't even tell you. That's why I don't miss going to those shitty places anymore, because it was wow.
Like when you did the more quality comedy, or like when you're talking about, yeah, like the one woman show, like how different was the audience? And I'm sure the venue was a lot different too.
Yeah, well, the audience was, first of all, it was a lot of people who knew me, because it was, I only like had it up one day because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's just one time, and I had a lot of people that knew me, and they're deeper, they're more engaged in the sense that they want to hear your story rather than just joke, 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 joke.
Mhm.
Where people that go to a club, when I go to a club, I want to hear somebody that's funny all the time,
Mhm.
nonstop. I don't want them to tell me some traumatic story and then make me laugh. So it's a whole different vibe. When you do a stand-up comedy, like good gig, it is amazing. And it's mostly at clubs or sometimes private gigs, or sometimes like it can be a restaurant, but like the booker just, pack the room with people who really want to see comedy. So it's such a crapshoot sometimes, even in comedy clubs. I remember last year I did, oh my God, what was the name of the comedy club? I have to look at a picture. I forgot.
Okay.
It was in Phoenix, and we did like 4 shows, Friday and 2 Saturday. I'll tell you in a second the name of the club. It's bugging me that I can't remember. See, this is how many clubs and places I've been to. It's like it's a blur.
Of course.
Honest to God, like the only one I really remember is Flappers, because I produced like a gazillion shows there. I produced them myself. Okay, here it is. Stir Crazy Comedy Club. Hello. So, and here's me like performing at the Stir Crazy Comedy Club.
Okay.
So, like that one, we had a few shows that were amazing. But one show, it was just like the people were not with you. We were not connecting. None of us. It's only 3 people. The opener, I was the feature. I'm usually a headliner, but I love the headliner, and she took me on the road with her. I was like, I'll go with you. Lisa Alvarado, she's amazing. And so Lisa was headlining, and it's just we were not connecting. And they were kind of like what Rick was describing, like this, like, okay, make me laugh. And so it's not fun when that happens. I mean, you do make them laugh because, you've done this for 200 years and you know what to do, and you know the psychology of the room and you understand it, but it's not fun. But when they get you, and when you connect with the audience, and when you're vibing with the audience, it is the best feeling in the world. It's so good. But you have to go through the pain, of some gigs that are kind of to get to those that are just magic.
I agree. And it's like, along the way, I'm sure, like, making fun of people in the audience. It's like, I'm sure certain times in certain places, it's like you can only go so far with it and making like a joke here, a joke there, and then like going back to your set instead of like other places where you like people are welcoming it. I don't know about you, but whenever I go to a show, I'm like, I'm fair game. You can pick me out. You can pick me apart and say whatever you want. I'm going to laugh my ass off about it.
Absolutely. Well, if you go to a comedy club, just know that the comedians are going to pick on you.
That's what I said. I'm like,
yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, so if you're uptight about it, then don't go.
That's what I said.
Right?
People act nervous. Like, I want to go sit in the front or like close because I just want to drink it in and experience it. And I'm like, yeah, pick on me. Like, I want to be picked on almost. It's kind of weird and sick, like fetish or something. But
absolutely. I know. You know what I was
running away.
Don't I look like I'm between two ferns? You know that show with John Gallagher?
Zach Galifianakis.
I did not plan it this way because I was like, this space is too empty. So I brought a plant, but it really looks like a bad cable show.
Oh my God. Have you watched any of that? It's so silly.
I know. I know. It's so funny.
Hillary Clinton went on one and like, yes. I've seen a handful of them, but like, I really like the one with Hillary Clinton and like a couple of the politicians going on. Like, good for them. Good job.
Yeah. Obama was there. He was great. I know. No, that's a great show. It's so funny. So I feel like maybe we should do Between Two Ferns, Brain Babes Between Two Ferns. I don't know.
Oh my God. We need to meet in person. This was one of my other questions. I know we could totally talk about the topic more, but have you seen, like, what are your favorite funny movies or like comedies or shows? Like, do you have one that's tried and true? If you're like, I need to be like laughing out loud and, you can depend on it, or like,
that's a tough question because what made me laugh 10 years ago doesn't make me laugh anymore, especially being in the business and having written sitcoms. And having optioned sitcoms. I have optioned a sitcom that I wrote with my partner, Barney Cohen from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So, yeah. So I changed because of being in the business. So it's almost like.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like I am kind of dissecting sometimes. I'm laughing and I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, part of me is dissecting.
Yeah.
And like, oh, that was a good joke. And that was kind of weak. Yeah, that's kind of hacky. Or, they need to up the writing or great writing. So, yeah, it's
good at it.
Yeah, well, it kind
of do.
Yeah, it takes away, like now I see. And also, okay, so not just the business, but also as I get older, what made me laugh when I was, 20 years ago, doesn't make me laugh now because I already lived that and it's not like a current thing in my life that I'm going through. And so it's like, yeah, okay, it's funny, good joke, but it doesn't, I think we laugh when we connect with a joke. It's about the connection with that joke, and it varies for different people. That's why stand-up can be a little hard because you can kill at a club. Oh, I shouldn't say that word. You can unalive in a club. Isn't that stupid? You can unalive in one, with one crowd, and then with another crowd, you can bomb. And it's the same exact jokes.
Yeah.
So it is about the connection. And maybe like, the senior homes, if I do stuff about getting married, they're gonna be like, I've been there, done that. I'm a widow, and I'm 1 foot in the grave. So they're not gonna be like, because I've been there. I've been there in senior homes, and they're a tough crowd. Let me tell you, they are, and because they lived so much. Crystal, it's like. Okay, make me laugh about being old. Now, when I did my old man material, they were either offended or they were laughing. With one of the two. My friend Marty Ross, may he rest in peace. He was a really dear friend of mine. He was on America's Got Talent. He went viral and everything. And he had tons of jokes. I mean, it was all his whole act about being old. He was 81 or 80 when he passed away. And he called himself the wrinkled rebel.
He leaned into it. That's good.
I know. But so at senior homes, man, he killed because people were like, yeah, he looks like us. And he experiences the same things, where somebody younger, they might be like, oh, yeah, whatever. Like, next.
And see, and I understand that. And like when you were talking about that and bringing up the term ageism, like I was literally about to say that.
Yeah.
It just makes me sad because I've never been that way. Even when I was a little kid, I was talking to the adults and joking around and I could work a crowd and I'm like 5 years old. That's probably really weird, but I know people relate to that too. And it's like, I just don't see it that way, but I get it. Other regular people out there do. It's like, I'm like, so judgmental and just terrible. It's like,
oh, I know. And it goes both ways. Older people with younger and younger with older. I was watching on TikTok because before I go to sleep, I watch TikTok. I know, I have to confess. Everybody knows that. I know, everybody knows that. It's sad, but it is what it is. And and I was watching this younger guy like rip apart all the bachelorette guys, like grandpa, dad. And it was like, dude, okay, you're a young guy. It's not that funny when you say it. If another older guy would have said it, it would have been hysterical.
Exactly.
But it's like also depends what kind of jokes and who says the jokes. Exactly. Like I was, like dating an older man like I did. Okay, it was funny from my perspective.
Right.
But if I was mean about him, said something mean, that's not nice, So it was me suffering because I was dating an older guy and it was a different experience. So that, but being mean about, like, I don't like when people do that, just being mean for the sake of being mean and they think they're funny. I'm like, no, dude, you're just being mean. It's not funny.
Well, you can tell it's the vibe, just like what we were saying. And Rick was like, you can tell when it's something you mean from your heart and whether it's your life experience or something that went right or wrong in your relation. It's just the truth is this is what happened. And he was older than me. And maybe he offered me some, what's that red, that pink stuff when your tummy's not feeling right?
Pepto-Bismol.
Like Taylor Tomlinson, we were saying how much we like her. She was making the joke too about like dating an older dude. She's like, it's the bomb. Like
it's amazing. Yeah. And then I had a joke that I've had for years because, so I was dating my first older guy. I had two. Okay. And I was engaged to both. One was my manager and the other one was a famous actor. Okay. So the first one, the daughter who I love now, but they didn't know who I was. So the daughter and her mom were like, she's a gold digger. And I got so offended because I was like, I'm not with you for the money. I'm with you for the free prescription drugs, I was like, and that's how the joke came about, because I was so mad. Just tell them I'm with you for the free prescription drugs. And I was like, ooh, that's a great joke in the middle of my own. That's a great, write it down. And he was my manager. So it's like, that's a good one. Write it down. So that's how it was.
It's a good point. It's true. Yeah. Obviously, it's not the money. Come on, let's be.
Oh, come on. No, it's like I had daddy issues. I'm going to admit it. My father was like emotionally absent, but I loved my father. And it's a whole, the dynamics of the family was, my mom took over, dominated, and then my dad kind of felt like
passive.
Yeah, passive. And I think my dad was in the spectrum. I have a strong feeling. He was very smart. He was an engineer. Yeah, I think he was in the spectrum, and that's why he put up with my mom for so long.
Probably. I do. I relate to that a lot. So I understand. Yeah. And I only had two relationships where somebody was older than me, but one was a lot more because it was 20 years.
Yeah, that's big.
And it is big, especially when I was younger. And it's like, okay, that's weird. And then the other one was like 11 or 12. So it wasn't as bad, but still.
Mine was a lot more.
I'm like, yours was like 30?
He was older than my mom.
Okay. I don't know the age difference between you. Wait, so it was over 40 years then difference? 30 or 40 years?
I'm not going to say. Because I don't want to say my age.
I know. You're like, stop doing the math, Crystal. We're not interested. Okay.
Yeah. But it was huge. It was a big difference. Yes. But
It's funny. That's why you
I
gotta make
know. But a lot of my jokes are born out of, what the, what the F, why is this happening to me? Or, like I told you, like that joke about like, I'm with you for the free prescription drugs came out of anger because that was offended. Like, no, why are they saying that about me? That's so mean. And then
exactly.
they realized I wasn't with him for the money because he had no money.
That is funny though.
I
It's
know.
people relate to it because you're saying you have the courage to say what other people are just thinking and they're keeping it inside.
Right?
That's why it's funny because it's the truth. That's
Yes.
why we laugh, we relate to it. I mean, even if nobody wants to admit it. And the people that you were saying doing this and being mean, that's because they're just jealous. Like literally, why else would they have a bad attitude and be crossing their arms and like not wanting to? I like why else? It just doesn't make any sense.
I
If you're
know. I know, it's just mean. You want, like, whenever I go to a comedy club, I want the comedian to succeed.
yes,
I want them to be funny. I want them to do well.
yeah,
But some people just, yeah, they don't want you to do well. I had one girl that I remember at the Ventura Comedy Club. It's not there anymore, but that was a good club. Like, I love that club. Performing there was fun. There was this girl who was intoxicated. So was the intoxicated ones. And I was saying I'm Latina, and at the time I had blonde hair, so she was Latina, and she was intoxicated, and she started, "I'm not Latina." And I was like, please. And nobody did anything. Like the audience wanted her to leave, but the club
Really?
didn't do anything. So they kept her there because she was drinking so much, I guess. It was like,
Oh. I know, and at that point, you're like, should I rip into her or not? Should I just keep going? Like,
yeah, I don't remember what I said, but I did definitely. Yeah, and you, what you do is you automatically, if you address the heckler,
yeah,
then you get the rest of the audience on your side because they don't want her to attack you like that.
right.
They don't want them to do that. They want to listen to you. They went there, they paid money to listen, to hear and laugh, not to have some drunk girl, just disrupt the whole show.
Yeah. Like, if anybody was with her, I'd be, yo, take your like drunk ass girlfriend and get.
Exactly.
That's the me now, though. Like, I'm sure back in the day, I would have been like very polite, but and I can't imagine what that's like. Just different places that you're going for show, just knowing like, oh, this is the owner here, or like, this is the kind of crowd. It's like you have to. That just seems like such a fine line.
I know, it's very, very fine. Now, after Chris Rock Will Smith, excuse me, assaulted Chris Rock,
Yeah.
people started doing that at comedy clubs.
Oh Lord Jesus.
I know. And that was really weird. We were all scared. Like they're gonna start, pulling a Will Smith. But yeah, that was not fun. One time, oh my God. Okay. So one time, I have so many stories and I keep forgetting them, but then I'll remember them as we talk. Okay. So I did this club, the Comedy Palace in San Diego. I did the main room, and there was two girls that were drunk, and they were just, when I got off, they were heckling me. And when I got off the stage, they were still like talking shit about me.
Huh.
And so I got mad. Like that was the only time I got mad.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I started like talking to them, talking back, and my friend who was there, Marcia, she was like, "Girl, let's go, let's go." Because she knew she's never seen me this mad. Because they were disrupting not just me but the other comics, so that was super annoying. And I was like, "Shut up!" Like I was telling them to shut up, and so they were, and and so they would pass me by and give me a stink eye. And at the time I was doing Krav Maga. So it's like, okay, you're going to give me a stink eye. And I would hold the look, like I would intimidate them with because I've had it with these girls. They were really bad.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was, and I was scared when I got to my car. I had somebody walk to my car because they were with two guys. and they didn't look good. So,
Mhm.
but I had to say something because they were heckling everybody, and it was super annoying.
Good.
And so I held the look, like, you
Mhm.
know, kind of establishing you want to be the alpha, but you're a bad alpha. I am a good alpha. I'm going to be the alpha. So I looked and I held their look like this, like as they were walking, because they were looking at me like, and so
Yeah.
I go, really? I can hold your look. Listen, and I'm stronger than you. You want to fight me?
With
like
you.
that kind of intent. No, when I don't, let me tell you, if
I
somebody crosses me, because it's mostly when they bug other people that I like, or that I like, that is like that. Just that's it. I've had it.
me
So
too.
oh yeah, so they stopped because I was like, I established myself as the alpha. That's how I see it. This is what Krav Maga has taught me. That's what you do. You establish yourself as the alpha. You don't have to do or say anything. You just
No,
look, and it's an energy. It's
they
like,
know.
don't mess with me. You want to mess with me?
They
You're
know.
gonna get a free Krav Maga lesson. You want to learn Krav Maga? I'll teach you. Bring it, sister.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
But
It's
then I had a big guy walk me to the car. Marcia was so scared too. And then we were paranoid. I think they're following us. And she goes, I see you should not have said anything. I was like, but I have to. We're fighting in the car.
you need to.
I know. And then I went to her house and she's like, you need some tea. Because she gives you tea every time you're upset. And I started crying like, there was so because I'm
Oh,
tough, like in the situation, but then I'm like, why? It's so sad. Why did they do that? I started crying.
that's good though that you could let it out because
Yeah,
like I don't let stuff like that out until a year or two
really.
later or years later. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, because I've had a lot of stuff go down to people don't think of it just the way that I am and the way that I seem, but I totally relate to you. Like I've had to totally alpha up in situation. And
Uh-huh.
people don't look at me that way when you're interacting with me, but
Yes. When
yeah,
you're fun, people think you're weak, or nice, they think you're weak. And
yes.
so, but guess what? I know I'm not weak.
No.
No,
People
I am
misunderstand
not.
that.
I'm not a violent person. Like I hate violence,
Right.
completely loathe it. But if
Right.
somebody attacks me, I do know how to defend myself.
Exactly.
Like for real. Like I did Krav Maga for 3 years.
Yeah. Like you're
I
trained
know.
already. I mean, you could imagine, like, I feel like that now, but as soon as I had my little baby boy, I'm like, just the thought, and he's 14 now, but I'm like, the thought of anyone, I mean, I will rip somebody's eyes right out of their head.
Totally. 100%.
Literally, I will.
Yeah, no, I hear you, girl. I hear you. Yeah.
I think being a mom, I'm not saying like, oh, you got to be a mom to be like savage, but I think it made me savage overnight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead
Oh
of
yeah. Well,
taking Krav Maga and like going through that, I think it, and then I'm like, okay, how do I adjust my physical conditioning to adjust to this new mindset of,
right. Well, you have to protect your babies.
yeah,
That's where women are created to be that way. Women are the real protectors and
I
nurturers.
totally agree.
Yeah. They say men protect you. Yes, a man, well, but I never had experiences where men protected me. It was always myself. Let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
But a man didn't protect me. So I
Mm.
never expect men to protect me. I always protect myself. And I do protect others.
Yeah.
Men, women, it doesn't matter. Or especially children. Like you mess with a child, you're gonna learn Krav Maga for sure. That's it. End of the story.
For sure.
There's no middle of the ground. But I remember this I was with a guy who was a producer, and we weren't on a date or anything. We were just like going to a club because I can get for free at a certain club. I'm not going to say the name because I know one of the managers. Whatever. I kind of dated him a little bit. Anyway, so I can get free tickets there. So I was like, do you want to, go there? And okay. So there was a guy for some reason, because this is LA, right? A guy coming out of the comedy club running, screaming, and he was heading towards us as we were walking. He moved away, and I went in a fighting stance
Oh, you went right.
because I'm trained to do that. Like I
Yeah.
didn't run away. I was like ready to fight him. And the guy felt my energy because I was like, I'm not playing. You want to fight me? I'm ready, baby. and he went around me, but he was directly coming at us. But my friend, he was out. He didn't defend me. He was like, "You're on your own, bitch."
And
Yeah.
you're like, wow, good to know. Glad
Yeah.
that somebody tested the friendship here. Just so
I know. I was like, dude, whatever. Now, it wasn't, to me, it's not unattractive if a man doesn't defend me. What my thing is, I don't expect men to defend me. And
because of
so,
things like that in our
right,
upbringing.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think the women are the true protectors. So that's why you have that instinct of protecting your child where you will do anything. And be careful what you say on YouTube. 'Cause YouTube,
No,
they're like, yeah. So, but you would do anything to protect your child, basically. Yeah.
absolutely. And that's just, you know, to me, parents who don't protect their children, whether it's a mom or dad, like I just don't get it. And I've experienced it too. Like I won't go into it either, Grace, but it's like
Yeah.
I didn't realize it until more recently. I think it's a survival skill. Just, maybe not diving into the actuality of it until later because you just have to survive and get through and put on, right? I think we've had to be like little soldiers, little girl soldiers, and
Yes.
like stiffen up that upper lip, little soldier. And we're from that side of the track, it sounds like. And when
Yeah.
it's foreign, when people are like talking about being, yeah, like, I don't know, daddy's girl or this or that, or being, and I'm like, I remember, yeah, crying, realizing, oh my God, I never felt protected.
I know. The opposite, kind of like, they would protect themselves first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. My mom was very protective, but she was the one with the, mental illness. So it was kind of weird. Like, so the crazy one was protecting me.
Well, yeah, because
You
also
know?
she was the disciplinarian, right? So
Yes. Oh,
it's
100%.
confusing part too. Like, I love you, I'm protecting you, but I'm also gonna hurt you because I'm disciplining you, and I love you because I'm doing. It's like the most confusing
So
emotions and
mixed signals. I have a whole,
signals.
that was one of the first things I wrote about my mom. Like, for my stand-up comedy, it's like the mixed signals. Like you're like, do you love me? Do you hate me? What's happening? I'm so confused right now.
And that is why we were conditioned and primed for that in our romantic relationships. And it's all about attachment theory, and it's all about
Yes.
that. It's the conditioning. It's the what do you call it? Brainwashing? What? Either way, but we
Yeah.
were set up for bad, failed relationships until the healing really takes place.
100%. I either went with beta men who end up hating me because they give me the role of the mom and the organizer, the leader, which I don't want it. I want to be distributed evenly, or some kind of, no,
Yeah.
and then they resent me because of that. Or the alpha who is abusive
Right.
and wants to be better than me, thinks he's better than me. And it's like, no.
So to me, you know what I've learned? This is what I think. So I always looked at it as those two as well, but it ends up being they're both the betas because a real alpha man would never abuse and treat his woman like that. The alpha, the healed alpha, the real man actually knows, okay, I have to work on myself. I've got to come back in, which is what you and I have been doing, right?
That's
And
right.
those are the real alphas. The other ones out there are just posing as alphas in the abusive thing, and they're all betas. And whether
They're like wolves in sheep's clothing kind of thing.
exactly,
Yeah.
they just pick their personality or whatever. Like, I'm going to be shy. I'm going to be aggressive.
I know. It's like, just be you. How about that?
We don't know who they are.
I know. I know. It's just, yeah, that's why I'm single. I'm like, unless there's a king who is healed
There you
and
go.
awake and spiritually vibrating at a high frequency of love, peace, joy, enlightenment, all of the above, all of that and more, all the good things, I can't deal with it. It's a waste of my time and their time because we're not vibing at the same, speed, so to speak. Wonderful. Thank you, Gary. Thank you. I love Gary.
Oh, Gary. Aw.
Yes, yes. And he had a birthday. He's a Libra too. I'm surrounded by Libras. I love my Libras.
I
Happy
love
birthday, Gary. And Jesse also. Jesse's a Libra, and but I think Gary's was like a few days ago, and Jesse's was a little bit earlier. So yeah, Jesse, my other friend right here. I love Jesse. I love the two of them.
he's
Um, yes. So yeah, that's why, again, it has to be a very healed person
Mhm.
that comes into my life, and they have to prove to be healed too, because I feel like a lot of people want things to happen fast, and that to me is a red flag.
Mhm.
Yeah, or they just want the physical relationship, right?
Right.
And I'm not about that. Maybe at some point in my life I was about more, the physical relationship, but now I'm not. So it's more like you have to be like really, really awake
Mm,
and healed.
I agree.
And I don't know if that person exists.
I know that they do.
They do? I hope
They do.
so.
I haven't been in a relationship with them either, Grace, but it's coming and it's something that I have had a vision of, and like I've totally prayed about it and meditated on it and stuff. And I feel like I have a vision for a lot of the ladies like us who have never
Yeah,
known that, and that it's coming.
I love that. Like a healthy,
Yeah,
a
because
healthy relationship.
healing.
Yeah.
We've finally been healing because you encountered illness and you encountered this and that. And I did the same in my own way. And it's
Yes.
like, when you're so strong because you've had to be, something had to take you out to get you to rest and look at your health, right? And go, oh my God, I need to take into account everything
Absolutely.
because I'm going to live through this and I'm going to survive again. And
Yes.
it's like the ultimate, I feel like, healing pivot.
Absolutely. I always say cancer was a blessing in my life. And I know it sounds crazy, but it truly was, because it's the push that I needed to just be like, oh, I can't be fooling around anymore. Like in general in life, not
Yeah.
sexually. It just, I can't. Wow. Okay. I want to live. I choose to take the route that will help me live and survive this. Um, and what's next? Am I going to do the same things as before? And I can't go back to my old self. Like, there's no way I can do that. Like, even if I tried, it's like so against who I am today
Awesome.
that it would make me sick to my stomach. Literally, it would be like, oh no,
You
I
wouldn't
can't.
be able to. It'd be like you're playing a part, like your old self, right? You would
Yeah,
have to be acting. And I feel the same way because I was such a people pleaser. And that,
right.
you're surviving through what you need to get to the next part. And just like that was a catalyst for change for you, but you answered the call. It was calling to send you a message that, and you were able to decipher and think because you're not just smart, but you have a spiritual savviness going on.
Thank
And
you.
so it's like both things together. You put it together and you're able to figure it out your new journey and your new path. So you can't find the other path anymore. You've moved on.
It's gone. It's gone. As a matter of fact, I wanted to, if you don't mind, I'm going to play. You guys have been editing commercials for my books. And I wrote one called Get This Off My Chest. And it's not just for cancer survivors or people that are going through the journey, but for everybody. And you'll see why. I'm going to just do a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back talking more shit. Yes. Because that's what we do, baby. We talk shit. Okay, so okay, here it is. Okay, ready? Let's go. Life hit me with a storm I never saw coming. Stage 3 breast cancer. But let me tell you something. When the storm passes, something beautiful can emerge. I know because I lived it. Get This Off My Chest is my story of transformation. It's about finding peace, joy, and positivity in the middle of the hardest battle of my life. This book is for anyone who's ever felt overwhelmed by life's challenges, especially when it comes to your health. It's not just another cancer memoir. It's a guide to reclaiming your life, your joy, and your power. When I was going through cancer treatment, I made a choice to laugh through the chaos, to surround myself with love, and to embrace every single day with gratitude. I want to share that with you. Get This Off My Chest is about shifting your mindset, flipping the script, and learning to find light in the darkest moments. Because I believe that transformation is beautiful, and every challenge, no matter how hard, is an opportunity to rediscover yourself. So whether you're fighting your own battle or supporting someone you love, this book is for you. It's for the warriors, the survivors, and anyone ready to live life with joy, strength, and a whole lot of humor. Get your copy of Get This Off My Chest. It's available on my online shop, www.thestateofgraceshop.com. Your journey to healing starts now.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's like the commercial says, it's for everybody, that wants to have joy in their life and who's been through challenges. We all go through challenges, right? So
Point. It's like when you hear somebody like, this is my cancer survivals or whatever. It's like, wait a minute, this is for everybody, because it's so true. Like, people get segmented and we label things, right? Our society, our whole life. And it's like, no, we're really all in this together. If you're
yes,
living, breathing person, that, yeah.
Yes. And in the book, I talk about narcissistic abuse being like cancer. So yeah, I compare it to that, and I do a whole dissertation of why I think so. But if you guys want to get the book, you can get it at thestateofgraceshop.com, and it's on PDF, so you can just read it digitally, and it's only $5.99. That's why I do it digitally, because I can, give it to you for you can get a better deal than if I have to like print the books and all that. That gets super expensive. So this is easy. You just download the book and read it, and it's an easy read, super fast. You're going to read it, and hopefully it'll help you and, provide some answers or some, oh yeah, this is what I think too, kind of thing.
Yeah, because you never know. Like, sometimes people think they know it all or they've been through it all, and we just never know what you're going to relate to or what questions it's going to bring up or emotions, unless you give it a chance. You gotta
100%. Sometimes, like I scroll on TikTok and it's somebody that's gone through something that I've never been through, but I cry because I feel the compassion of, like, you can tell like they're going through something really profound and painful for them. And I just, it doesn't have to be the same experience. And like you said, we're all in this together. And so it's just, the pain is pain for everybody. The hard experiences are hard for everybody, regardless if it's cancer, narcissistic abuse, if it's another disease. Yeah. It's all kind of like, it's the same concept, right?
It is. I hate it when people, get judgmental, and the whole ageism thing has been on my mind a lot. And I think even years ago, like, I did work for a therapy company for a couple of years, and when you guys talking about the old folks home, I used to be in one of the homes like 3 days a week doing that job, and it totally changed my because I got more comfortable like hanging out with all the people, and it was really hard to leave because I missed them, and it was tough because I was there a lot. And before you know it, it's like you always, these are elderly people, these are older, and then before you know it, I'm like, these were like my best buds that I was hanging forward to seeing and talking to. And I would make excuse like, I'm going to visit them for this therapy appointment, and I'd end up staying late after work in one of their rooms talking to just shooting shit with like Margie or whatever, like, because they don't care anymore. When you get older, you don't care.
They don't care.
So it's great Like, it's sad when some of them started to get dementia and like kind of lose. That was really sad, or people dying or whatever emergencies. I know one time I was there, thank God, this lady, she had a really bad emergency and I just happened to go in her room, and I won't get into it, but it's like, we got her help or whatever. And
Good.
Yeah, she was like, I was about to do something bad, so I'm really glad you showed up.
Oh my God. Wow.
You never know unless we just get to know people and open up our mind what they're going through.
Exactly.
The age, the background, whatever. Like, yeah.
100%. In age, it truly is just a number. Of course, we develop, there's children, adults, and then older people, but it is a number because we all share the human experience.
I agree.
It's, it might be different experiences for different people, but it's all the human experience. And that's why going back to comedy kind of unites a lot of times, because people, even if I feel like when I talk about something, and even if they didn't have that particular experience, they had the feeling that's behind that experience, and that's what they connect with, and that's why they laugh.
Wow.
It's the emotional. Yeah. So it's not about the technicality of, they have to have the same exact experience that you had. It's the emotion behind.
That's a great point.
How it made them feel.
Yeah, like seen and heard. And like, I know we were joking around about bathroom humor, like even after we got out, and I won't go through it, but we were talking about like, number one, number two, like we've had some, funny things happen to us, and we were joking around. And I appreciate when I can joke around like that, because people my age or younger, if they're just like looking at me like, what?
Right.
Because I'm like, well, these are my life experiences, and they're a little hodgepodge. It's random. It's all over the place. Like, if I really opened it, like, what is she going to do or say next? We don't know. Like, the one minute I might sound like a 20-year-old. The next minute I might sound like a 90-year-old, because you've experienced it all and you've had different things happen, right?
We all do that. We have, again, age is a number, because sometimes I feel like I'm a 20-year-old, like you said, and sometimes I feel like I'm 95.
Right.
When I went through cancer, I even walked like a 95-year-old, because I'm like, it just messes with your body so bad. I was like, So I experienced what it is to be when you're 95. And let me tell you, it's not fun.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Everything hurts. Everything. That's what chemo does to you. It like, everybody, like I saw there was a kid who's 26, and he had colon cancer, and he's in remission. He's fine. He's survived it. And he's now trying to go back to the gym. And he was like, I could do like 30, 40 push-ups with no problems. And you see him struggling to do one, because it eats up your muscle mass, and it just weakens you so much, because it's literally unaliving your cells.
Yep.
And so, but this 26-year-old, like same as I felt, like I would go up the stairs and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Like before I would go up and down, like running up and down the stairs. And I was like 1, 2, and I have to breathe. Like I had to like take breaths. Yeah. Like a 95-year-old.
And see, to me, like when you were running up and down and doing fine before, to me, either way, it's not about your age. It's about what you were experiencing, because that could happen at anybody. Like I've had the same thing. I've had to crawl up the stairs before. When I couldn't walk, I've had to crawl a little bit onto the bathroom, or like literally I haven't been able to walk sometimes. I know what it feels like to be able to move, like be paralyzed. That's not a cool feeling either.
Ooh, what happened?
Girl, I've had the symptoms for everything, but there's not a diagnosis route. And so that's why it's even more different, like that there's not an actual diagnosis. It's like, it freed me up to go, well, I'm going to heal right through this, because I don't have anything. So all of these symptoms are just attacks. Okay. And that's what I just started. I'm like, I'm overcoming this attack and this, and I just kept speaking out positive, like how we talk about, where you're just like speaking nothing, you keep speaking positive. And that's where my journey started too, and just praying and meditating and doing sound healing. And I think I've tried almost everything.
Oh,
You just keep doing it, right?
yeah.
Whatever you need to do, like whatever you feel led to do, just do it. You just have to sometimes research, look it up online, kind of get into your get connected to spirit, to source, to yourself, right? And we decided to go within instead of to keep going out externally. We were like, no, we're going to go in because that's where the answers are.
And all the answers are within us. We all have the answers within us. And I think that's why the powers that be keep us so busy. And
Yeah.
we shouldn't have to work to drink water, to eat. Everything is free on this planet. Why do we have to work for it when it's there for you?
It's been a setup, but
Yeah.
I truly believe, Grace, that in our lifetime, we're going to see the truth come out.
Oh, we're seeing it right now. The truth is coming out everywhere, everywhere. And like we were talking with Rick, with like all the social medias, especially like TikTok and YouTube. I feel that those are the most powerful ones. And I think with that, a lot of people, again, misinformation and conspiracy theories, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people are finding stuff out and they're putting it on a video. And so everybody's like, oh, I never thought about that. And then how about this? Oh, I never thought about that. So it's like we're all kind of opening each other's eyes about certain things. And we're like, oh, it just makes sense.
Absolutely. And I know the whole COVID thing was a turning point because everybody was finally in the same boat, because otherwise people kept feeling pitted against each other, right? Like, I'm a cancer survivor. Well, I'm this, I'm that. And people don't see this is a straight line to connect no matter what's happened. Just like you're offering your book, it's for anybody.
Yeah.
And people had to go through COVID to realize it. We had to get
to shelter in place.
Yeah.
And be scared of getting COVID. I was terrified.
I wasn't, but that's just me. I'm a weirdo.
I was terrified. Well, especially when I was going through a cancer treatment. They made me like get the boosters and everything because they were like, you can die. Well, excuse me, unalive from COVID. I was like,
that makes
what? He was like, yeah, you can unalive from a cold. I was like, shit, can you imagine? Like, what happened to Grace? Oh, allergies. She passed away. Why allergies?
Like, that doesn't sound right.
It's like, it's so sad. So I was like, oh, hell no. I boosted myself up and never got COVID until August this year.
And see, so you were all prepared and ready, and you could take it like a champ. So you're okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But I had it twice because I took Paxlovid and I thought, oh, I feel so much better. I'm going to teach swimming again. And then I went and like exerted myself, and COVID was like, I'm not done with you yet. Thank you for getting yourself tired and working hard, because now I can proliferate faster.
It was a reminder for you to rest.
Yeah. But it came back. But as soon as I feel better, I'm like, oh, I got shit to do. I got to move. I got stuff to do because it's like the time on this earth is so short that I feel like I just have to do stuff but stuff that has to do with my purpose and my mission, which is to love and help others and tell our story. I feel like I need to tell my stories to help others. That's why I'm writing all these books. I wrote like in 2 months, like 4 books.
It's really awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah. And so, yeah. And it's because I want to help people, and I like offer them for like $5.99, which is nothing. Because I want people to be able to afford it and get it. And yeah. So I just, it's, and I feel another thing is like with COVID, like I felt before I needed external validation. Like I needed to like go out and, FOMO. I had a lot of that. Like, oh, I need to do this show. I need to go to this party. I need to network this and that. And now it's like, no, I'm going to stay home, do my thing, and be happy. That's it.
So true. Like,
you too? Did you have that experience?
I did. I was actually amazed at how I didn't have to go everywhere. I was like, oh my God, this is really a good change. And then I still kind of went back after, because like I had broken up with somebody who was really the abusive thing and then it was almost like then I was trying to date a little bit. And then the whole, ailments started coming on. So because when you're healing, you think, okay, I'm better because like we can bounce back really quick. And like you said, it's like I got shit to do. I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Yes.
But this healing journey I picked was a little extreme. And so the ailments, the symptoms came out. And I remember I went back and forth every other month. I would be like healed and fine. And then I would be like on my deathbed the next month. And I'd be like going to the hospital. And it just kept going back. It's like, it was the weirdest thing.
That's crazy. Did this come out after, like during your relationship and then after? Maybe it's some kind of, your body is kind of saying, you have to deal, it's telling you have to deal with something maybe, or it's just, they say that, I saw this and it's true. I truly believe in that. The body keeps the emotions in every cell.
Yep.
Right? I feel like cancer, I'm not saying everybody gets cancer because of their emotions. This is my personal experience, that because I had gone through incredible grief of two things in my life, incredible grief, and dealing with a sociopathic person that we're not going to name or say anything who it is. So two things that broke my heart and one sociopath. It was just too much. And I kept going and going. Yes, I cried and but it wasn't enough. And so it stored up in it's almost like my immune system was not. It's actually scientific. When you're going through something emotional, it distracts the immune system from dealing with disease like cancer, killing cancer cells, or killing COVID virus or bacteria, whatever. That's why you get sick when you're emotionally more stressed.
Makes sense.
Yes. So a doctor told me that, and I've been researching that. So I do believe that that's what happened to me. The grief was so intense. And the stress of that sociopath. I'll tell you a story behind the scenes because I don't want to publicly talk about it.
Yeah.
It really affected me. And the breast is what? Nurture, love. And it's close to the heart, isn't it?
Yep.
So I was like, my heart was literally broken, but because my heart is so healthy, it survived chemo. It was like those whatever they did, the ultrasounds, they do ultrasounds. My heart was like working really well, but it just went to cancer.
It's amazing. It's almost like, all the mental and emotional focus to survive, and then the physical ailment happens. So then physically you're surviving, but all these other things have to happen first for the ailment, for the condition to even be there.
Absolutely.
It's like a test. Like, I don't know. It's like, do you want to live? Like, are you a survivor? Or are you going to, I almost feel like life is a test like that.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, do you believe and know that you can survive this, that all the answers are in you, the healing is in you? Or are we going to listen to the doctors and and
I do. I just wrote a book, and I don't have a commercial for that, but it's available on the State of Grace shop, and it's called Healing from Within.
There you go.
And I talk about, and I think I shared the experiences with you about how I healed myself of a couple of things. After my cancer journey, I'd learned how to send energy to a part of my body that's having issues, and it heals it. So for real, this is it's a must have book. It's really, really good. I wrote it with a lot of love and thinking about how to help others. And I did not want to share my experiences of how I healed myself because people will judge you for that and say you're crazy or whatever. But I was like, you know what? I really don't have time to care about that. What people that are not connected to that, my experience, are feeling or saying. It's okay. You can feel or say whatever you want. I'm fine. I just want to share it with whoever is open to hearing my experience and who can benefit from my experience and who can heal themselves, because we have that power.
I know it now. I know it now.
For real, like our bodies. Yeah. Like I have MRIs before and after I did the healing. And the doctors are like, oh, it happens twice with two different parts of my body. Come on. It happens. It didn't happen when I got cancer
I
because I
know.
didn't know how to heal myself.
They don't want us to know that, but it's too late. Now we're
I
shooting.
know, I already had it. Damn it. Freaking cancer. But I'm not saying like if you already have the cancer, don't try to heal yourself. Like you can do that on the side, kind of like a supplement.
Of course, you're never gonna. Yeah.
Girl, or whatever disease you have, follow the regimen. Just do what you need to do. Take your medications. Heal from that. Just get that thing out. And once you learn how to heal yourself, then do it. But that doesn't mean don't go to the doctor. I go to the doctors. I'm especially hyper vigilant after my cancer. I'm like, I have a pimple. Let's do an MRI of the pimple. It's like, it's insane. So, because I'm always like, you want to have tests and want to know what's happening.
Right.
But the healing, the inner healing, you can do it. Like the body healing, you do it as a supplement.
Exactly.
So this is again, not medical advice, you guys, or anything like that. This is my personal experience, and always follow your doctor's orders, period.
You were really good about saying that. I'm like, and disclaimer for
Yeah,
that.
you have to have a disclaimer, absolutely, especially with something physical or even mental, and again, these are our experiences, and we're just sharing and being vulnerable because we want to help others through their journey, and we're all connected.
Absolutely.
We're all connected, whether we want it or not.
There you go. That's what I was about to say. Whether you want it or not, we are.
We are. It's a fact. So, but I think a lot of people are catching on to like how you can heal yourself, and emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually too, because we've been a lot of, I'm not going to say anything about religions, but I think a lot of religions are man-made. Yes, they are based on spiritual concepts that are legit, but they have twisted those spiritual concepts to fit their agenda and have power over people and scare people to death of, you're going to hell if you do this, or, hell doesn't even, Jesus never talked about hell, for example. Like what is hell? Like, where is it? What are you talking about? Hell is here on earth.
State of mind.
Freaking cancer and going through treatment is hell.
Yes.
So don't tell me hell is somewhere else, because it's right here on this planet. And a lot of times we create our own hell.
Yeah, for sure. But then we create a way to get out, because I feel like we both have experienced this. So we know, like, we have to get out of this. We're not staying in hell.
Oh no, I don't like to stay in hell. That's not my jam. I like to party.
Been quite a few times, and I always find a way out. So.
Yes. And now, it's almost like, I don't know if you feel this, but I have created my own heaven.
Yeah.
And it's all internal, because the things I have are the same things I had 5 years ago before cancer. But it's like an internal state where I'm creating my peace, my joy. And it's a choice. It's an everyday choice. Like, I chose through the treatment. I was miserable, but I chose to have fun. Of course, crying.
Yeah.
I cried a lot. But then I would be like, okay, let's just move on to the fun part. Let's watch a fun video, or just distract yourself with something. So you're choosing to get away from that.
It's both.
Right. And I think it's a choice, and we can create our own hell, or we can create our own heaven.
Totally agreed.
It's up to us.
If people aren't on board with that, because I've encountered a lot more people contributing to the hell than the heaven, I'm like, you know what? My heaven crew's coming in. They're trickling in slowly, so I'm going to stand my ground here in Florida. And
totally. And you know what? When you create your own heaven, you attract heavenly people.
Exactly.
Like awesome people into your life. And when you create your own hell, you attract caca into your own life.
I guess I've done that. I don't know about I didn't know I was doing that. I think it's a survival skill. And then
Yeah,
you're like you encounter all these awful people and you're like, "Oh, I was just surviving." So that's why
we have to thrive, not survive.
exactly. That's what we're doing now.
That's
That's
right. I'm a cancer thriver, not survivor.
we wouldn't be here doing an after party in Brain Babes if we weren't thriving.
I know. And we had the same people like super tuned in. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know we have some YouTube people. If you're on YouTube, I can see your comments. And also, we have a lot on X. If you're on X, we can also see your comments. Because I know we had a few people comment, and I was like, yay, we can see the X comments. So some of the platforms we can't see the comments because I'm streaming through StreamYard, and some
Right.
of the platforms just don't show the comments. But yeah, comment away if you want to ask us questions, or you want to start a topic. We're here for you guys. So let me actually. Do you mind if I
Oh yeah.
tell people about my Patreon?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to have a private. Did I say private? I was My Spanish accent is coming out. So I'm going to have a private Patreon party on October 26th. It's a Saturday at 7, and we can talk about anything. We don't have to censor ourselves. And it's going to be through YouTube. But if you subscribe to my Patreon, which is only $5.99, and that's the price to get to the party anyway, you can read my books for free on Patreon. You can watch all kinds of comedy shows like The Tias, Golfing with Jose, Bail on Love. And I'm creating other shows too. I'm constantly creating content. So you can watch, and I post content weekly on Patreon, like one or two things, at least one. So yeah, so I'm gonna show you what I have on Patreon, and then we'll be back. All right. That one was short and sweet. And it's always the same thing, guys. It's the state of Grace Fraga. I tried to change everything to the state of Grace Fraga. So it's all easier for you. Let me see. Where is, okay, so I have it with, let me, here it is. So I'm going to like put it as a ticker. Let me see if I can do that. Okay. There it is. Okay. There you go. So if you want to subscribe to my Patreon, you can go to the party for free. Okay. So it's going to be a private party. It's going to be on YouTube, but it's going to be through Patreon. Okay. So yeah. So I would love for you guys to subscribe to my Patreon, $5.99 a month. It's a great deal. And I might give you a discount after you subscribe for 1 month, maybe for the next month. So, and I'm going to have parties at least once a month. And they're going to be like totally off the charts because we're going to talk about everything. We're going to say all the words we can't say on YouTube. Yes, because it's private. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm going to go to town, girl. Yeah, no, I'm going to just, go all the way. So here, Jesse, what do you both think about Dante's Inferno? Do you think Dante's Inferno is here on Earth as well? Yes, I do, 100%. And didn't he have like different quote unquote sins, like greed, and it's all the low vibrational things like fear, shame, guilt, and all of that. So yes, I think it was a representation of our lower self and how it can create us our hell. That's what I think. What do you think, Jesse? And what do you think, Crystal?
Yeah, that's interesting. He hit me out of the, like, I've never read that, but I mean, I knew what it was about. And then I've learned about that stuff more recently, because I was brought up with religion and Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, I'm going well, I've experienced hell on earth, just like what you were saying, Grace. And I think there's different levels of it depending on, are we vibrating in a lower frequency? Are we surrounded by people that are low vibrational and it's rubbing off on us and we're experiencing all these awful things and illnesses and maybe just depression? And I don't know, Jesse, if you've experienced any of that, but I have, from one extreme to the other. And it seems like levels of hell and heaven here. Just
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question, Jesse. I love Jesse. He has the best questions and he's such a sweetheart. We love Jesse.
Questions.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So girl, we've been going on for 2 hours, but you know what? People are still tuned in. So should we
I was gonna say I probably should go pretty soon, but I didn't know if you wanted me to read a few of these notes.
Yes, why don't we do that? Okay.
Like,
let's read some of the notes. Okay, go for it.
Like, you don't even have to pull up any, because I know we were talking about, I loved what Rick shared too. Like, it got me on a totally different train of thought, which I'm like, thank you. But we were talking about different types of comedy. Like we're saying tension, tension laughter, and like blowing off steam versus like what you said, Grace, like socially connecting. And I looked it up on ChatGPT in addition to my own research. And it was interesting from ChatGPT. It said there's relief theory where humor acts as a release of psychological tension. Of course, we know jokes or comedic situations can allow us to explore taboo topics or stressors in a more safe way. Right? That's why we go to comedy. That's why we want to laugh. Emotional regulation, it helps us with that. So people that are more narcissistic, we're talking about our bad relation, they are not regulating their emotions because they're not using comedy effectively and laughing and able to laugh at themselves and at life, which is why they can't emotionally regulate and they take it off on other people.
You know what? Little sidebar. My ex was an actor and a comedian too, a stand-up comedian.
Really? And you're like, how can you be doing that if it's a more of a performance for some people instead of
yes, absolutely. It wasn't, and somebody told him, I don't see the real person, I just see the jokes. And so that tells you very, very smart, Crystal. Yes, that's correct. And that's because you have to make yourself vulnerable and be real. Like I tell shit that I'm like, no, it's like no filter. And I'm like, should I go there? I'm like, yeah, why not?
Because
people are going to judge you regardless anyway, right?
That's what I look for. I'm like, I want to feel seen and heard and like hit right here, whether I'm laughing or crying through the joke. They're going, oh my God. She hit it. Like, that's what I look for. But I feel like people that are more closed-minded and maybe more lower vibration, maybe they haven't faced their fears or their shame and they haven't done any of that inner work. So maybe they're looking just for the jokes. They want to keep it surface level in their relationships. And maybe those people found us, Grace, and they found the wrong ones and they get tricked. So,
right.
That's why we're coming on this side. We're going to find the other people in the crew because
we are. You know what? It's not like we are going to. We are finding. Look, I found you.
It's true.
We're on the same vibrational, and I also have. You are the only one I co-host with. I'm very picky about people. So you're one, and of course, our common friend introduced us, right? But we vibed at that. Do you remember when I did that pod with NHB and you were there and we vibed and our friend was like, we can't say his name because he doesn't want his name out. But he said like, oh, you two should do something together. And that's how this came along, right? But then I'm also teaming up with a friend of mine, Pebbles. She's a comedian. She was friends with like Richard Pryor and all the big names, right? And it's going to be called, I'm going to show you it's going to be a podcast. She's sober. I am a normie, right? And it's going to be called Sober Strength Podcast.
I love it.
Yes, clean talk. So we're going to talk about, and on the flyer, we have Pebbles, sober, Grace, normie.
Keep it balanced. I love it.
Yes. And again, she's a Libra. Of course, my Libras. I love you guys. You're always in my life. And Libras I just get along great with Libras. I don't know what it is. Um, it's my destiny. But yeah, so you guys are the only two that I do stuff with, because the rest, well, of course I do the Diaz with Stephanie, but Stephanie is amazing. And but yeah, and El Benet I used to do with Elle. She's also very high vibe. And so is Pebbles. Pebbles has been helping people for free get sober for 32 years.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to check you guys out then. That's really interesting.
Oh, you love Pebbles. She is just,
Mm.
she actually, you know what she said? I told her about you because I said, look, Pebbles, I am like so picky about the people that I pick to be my co-host, because we have to be on the same, it just makes sense, right? We have to be on the same vibe, or else we couldn't be talking like we're talking right now for 2 hours. There was no way, right? It's like, it's not going to happen. And we don't have to necessarily agree on everything, but we're both open to like hearing each other's perspective and, oh, okay, yeah, maybe that's what it is. So so she said, well, maybe like Crystal, you and myself could have like coffee sometime. And I was like, she's in Florida, so we're gonna have to have virtual coffee. And she was like, let's do it. And she was like, well, I was like, maybe we can do like Sober Strength meets Brain Babes. I could change the banner and put something like that. And it could be like, we can relate being sober and drinking to the quantum field. How nerdy and awesome would that be?
We can relate anything to the quantum
To the
field.
quantum field.
We got
Poop
it.
to the quantum field too, right?
Like,
We
we
can
got
really poop to the anything. We can relate anything to the quantum field.
basically.
Yeah, but we thought about that. I mean, she came up with that. So I was like, yeah, maybe we should do like a little like virtual meeting and then just do a live. I think that's a great idea.
You guys let me know. I am down and up and around for all of it.
I love it. Yeah, no, you're gonna totally vibe with her. You're gonna love her.
Do you know that's how, like, okay, we're talking about words and the power of words and the vibes. Like, I used to say, yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down. And now I don't even want to say that. I'll be like, I'm up for that. I'm down and
I'm
up.
up for that, right?
Because I'm like realizing how much we say certain things, like phrases, terms, where like the English language is very vague, right? And gray. And I feel like
Yes.
some of the things we've been taught are almost like low-key way of like downing ourselves. Like,
Yes.
low key, but not really meaning it. But then it's like we say it over and over, and it's like maybe the quantum field took it for a while, like we meant that, and we really
Yes.
did. It was just
100%. You know, there's a lot of like TikTok videos again. That's my university. About like English and spelling is casting a spell, and then they're like,
yes, I watched those
did you see that?
on
Oh
YouTube.
my God. Like weekend is like week as in being weekend. And then weekday is a weekday when we work. Oh my God.
There's
Like
so many.
so many. It was insane. I was like, this is insanity. Like, how do they find this out? Like this, it was scary.
I know, but it hit home whenever I was like, this is like the low key way that people would think you're crazy if all this wasn't coming out now on these platforms.
Yes. You and I,
years ago, they would have been like, put her in the
absolutely.
middle.
Listen, I was doing like in researching with books about like the Illuminati, and I know that's made fun of, but like the powerful people that are all about the money and it's all about profit, and we're like the peasants that, the sheep that they use and all that. Way back, I
Right.
told my parents, they were like, you're crazy, you're insane. Then we went to Europe, and all the Illuminati symbols that I told them about, they were everywhere in the architecture. And so they were like, girl, maybe you have a point. I was like, I told you, but I could only tell my parents, because if I told somebody else, they would be like, they would put me in a mental institution. And
Yeah,
all this came out years ago. It's like, and now it's like everybody knows about the symbolism and all that BS. But yeah, no, the spelling thing, girl, no. And there was, I never say blessed again, because it says it's be less.
Can you believe that? I know.
What? Oh my God. I was like, all these words. I know. It's like, I mean, I say it, but then I can't stop thinking, oh, be less. Oh my God. They kind of ruined the English language for me.
I know. It's like I say things when I can catch it, but if I don't, I'm like I just let it go and I'm like, well, the vibe stands alone. The vibe,
It's also the intention with the
yes.
way you say it. Like if I say blessings in a loving way, I'm not telling you to be less. I'm
Exactly.
telling you like I wish you the best. So I think intention has a lot to do with it. But
Yeah.
I also do believe that words do cast spells. They can also elevate you. I mean, like we did, remember Dr. Emoto's research, the water research, where if you talk nice to the water and say loving things, the water is going to form these beautiful crystal patterns. When you talk to the water and say, I hate you, or you're trash, all the patterns kind of are all messed up all over the place. So that's hell. And the crystals, the perfection, the harmony is heaven. So see, we created even in a glass of water, we can create heaven and hell. Ooh,
Like, it's that simple. All you need to know about life right here with with the brain babes.
I know. I should transcript this and do
Yeah.
memes, and I'll send them to you too. I do memes of everything. Like I transcribe some of the podcasts and my books also, and I do memes.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm a meme girl. And then I got paid by a guest who has books. And when she saw my memes, she was like, can you do some for me? I was like, sure. And I did 250 for her.
she paid you to do the memes.
She paid me to do the memes.
Well, because you're funny, you're a comedian, so that makes sense. Your memes are way better than some dumb like algorithm memes, probably that you know. that they
But
might-
I love memes. They're very effective because you can get like a message across, and it's colorful and big letters, so it's like very simple and straightforward. I think that's a good way to bless people
right?
and not be less, to be how can we say to be blessed but not that word? Let me look it up. Let me look at synonym.
Blessed.
Be
Anointed.
anointed.
There's a religious word.
That makes me it makes me feel like a charismatic Pentecostal thing.
I was gonna say that's a religious word, but I still use it because if somebody
Really?
has a spirit anointing, like you have the anointing grace.
I've been told that many times, even before my cancer thing. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Ask God's favor, protection, invoke happiness and doubt. Favor, grace. Oh, grace.
Really? Oh yeah, my name.
Grace. Okay.
State of
Maybe
grace.
maybe we can wish grace onto people. Not me, but like grace, like grace.
Grace be with you. Peace be with you. Grace be with you.
I don't know. The blessed thing has me obsessed now.
It's and it's exactly it's like it's not bothering me, but if it bugs you, you just have to put a different word in because that's gonna mess with your intention and your vibe if it's in your so if
Totally.
I think we're both at that point where we can kind of filter through if something's messing with us, we have to kind of come up with a alternative or a different plan because we know.
I know. She knows. She knows. And
She
she knows she knows.
I thought you were gonna say she bang, she bang. She knows. She
knows.
when she moves. She moves.
I know. Well, I mean, people are staying, and I would hate to go. I don't know. Should we like leave them wanting more?
Should we stay or should we go?
Should I stay or should I go? Bam, 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 bam. Okay, copyright. I use less than 16 bars, so we're good.
It's not
Right? So when is our next? Okay, let's talk about our next pod. It's gonna be, when is it? It's gonna be on October 18th.
Yes.
That one, you guys, is a top 10 with Kathy McCauley. She's a great actress. And we're going to do top 10 phobias that we couldn't do last week because I was a little bit under the weather. So if I cancel something, it's because I'm not feeling good. Yeah, and I want to give it my all. So I didn't feel like I would be able to give it my all. And then on November 1st, we are also going to be on at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to keep exploring the neurodivergent and situation in the quantum field. We don't have any guests for that one. So it's just going to be Crystal and myself, and we're gonna always, of course, have an after party. And look at Jesse. He says, always more. Oh, thank you, Jesse. I know. I just want to stay. It's so hard to leave. I just
What do
want
they
to
say?
stay.
The bars, Grace, they close at 2 a.m. They're like, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. One last call. One last call, guys.
Last call. Last call. Yes. So, okay. So we are going to see you guys next Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and that would be 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then on November 1st, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And they're both going to be fun. And we're going to, of course, do after parties on all of them. Oh, he says, cool, you can go though. Just
Thank you.
go. Amazing. I love it. So, by the way, on the way out, I'm gonna show you a little blurb, little commercial thingy. So I shouldn't call it commercials. They're like a little. They tell you about what the book is
Sure.
about. I wrote another book about dating. That's a fun one. So I'm gonna play that one. That's gonna be our. Let me see if outro video. Let me see. I have to set it up. I'm engineering all this. It's quite. Am I getting better at engineering and like talking?
Amazing. I was going to
Really?
say, yeah.
Oh my God, thank you. Because it's hard to, I can't find it.
Because you have a couple screens or monitors right there, right?
Yeah, yeah, I have two, but I had to buy a new computer because mine
That's right.
was, you remember I told you?
Mhm.
Yeah, mine, the battery was low, but then, and they were like, it's going to cost you like $400 to buy a new battery.
Yeah.
You might as well buy a new computer. And I did. But then this one, I can still, like, if I keep it plugged in, it works. So, yeah. So I'm like, all right. Okay. I don't know why. It's very glitchy. I can't like select it on the way. So I'll just do it manually. Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna worry. We have like literally 20 people that are watching us nonstop. Like, and those are the ones I can see because I can't see on the other platforms. So it's more than that.
More.
I know. So I think that people really like our podcast.
Candidness that we
Yeah. We just like we hold nothing back. We're just gonna tell you what's up.
it's just real. Keeping it real.
Oh, 100%. Always, girl. All right. So we're gonna go. We will see you guys very soon. We love you. We appreciate your love and support. We just it makes us feel so good that you are listening, and hopefully, what we talk about not only is interesting, but it enriches your life. I'm not gonna say blessings. It enriches your life. I found it enriches.
Rich. I love it.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to run a little video about my latest book about dating, and we're going to go and then we'll disappear from that's going to be the last thing you see. All right. Mwah. We love you. All right. Bye. Dating is like trying to find a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is full of frogs and weird DMs. But who says you can't have fun while you're searching for that needle or prince? Say goodbye to dating disasters and hello to love that lights up your world. In Love, Laughter, and Lessons, a fun guide to dating, I spill all the secrets to navigating the dating scene with grace, humor, and just the right amount of sass. Whether you're swiping left or making eye contact across the room, I'll show you how to attract love like a magnet. It's time to stop waiting for love and start living it. Get your copy of Love, Laughter, and Lessons, a fun guide to dating today, and let the magic begin.